Okay, so as a person that took on the challenge of going through higher ed pretty much alone in a silo, and now being able to work as the queen of support networks, tell me like the differences in those little nuances that you've seen and noticed in doing the work and seeing what you've seen.
So when I was first released, there wasn't a great deal of community support for formerly incarcerated individuals. There was no support group on campus. There was no support group in my community. Probation did not connect me with anybody else in my community in terms of supporting each other in positive roles. I was pretty much isolated and alienated from everything and everybody because there were those individuals that were around me on campus in the classroom that were doing well, succeeding, studying together, working together, but I never felt comfortable joining any of those groups because at some point I would have to reveal that I was formerly incarcerated, that I had been in prison for 17 years, that I had a horrific past. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to tell people. And I always ended up telling people either too soon or too late. Project Rebound opened up a space for people who have negative backgrounds to come together in that space to find healing, to find compassion, to find understanding, and find social capital and support that they don't have elsewhere. Project Rebound creates a network of logistical support. So for example, when I was an undergraduate at Fresno State, there were times I commuted an hour each way every day for class. And there were times when all I had was $10 to my name and I had to figure out if I wanted to eat something or put gas in my car and drive home. So I would put gas in my car so I could drive home where I was safe and just be hungry. I didn't know that there was a food pantry. I didn't know that there were resources in the community where I could access food if I was hungry. I certainly didn't have a program to which would supply a food voucher for me when I was hungry. There were a lot of resources in place for students on campus that I remained completely unaware of the entire time that I pursued my bachelor's and then even my master's degree because I was afraid to talk to people and I was afraid to engage with people, and so I stayed to myself. And Project Rebound opens those possibilities of connection and support that every student needs navigating the university system and while they are struggling students trying to improve themselves and their communities.
From a personal standpoint, like what was it like for you, like feeling that alone, like during that process for you, like and the things that you actually desire, because there's a difference there from what you were actually going through, and how you wanted to, what do you call it, re-enter and ultimately mesh with others.
So who I wanted to be in the community and what I desired, my internal goals, I wanted to be in a place where I could give back to my community. I wanted to be in a place where I could make the area and the state and our country a better place. I wanted to give back and try and repair, even indirectly, the harm that I had caused and the negative impact that I had had in the world. And I wanted to get into my community and be a positive impact and be proactive about helping other people. But I couldn't. I didn't know where I could go. I was limited in a lot of areas where I tried to go. I was limited by my felony background, and I was told that I couldn't volunteer and I couldn't participate in the programs that I tried to integrate into. So not having the support of Project Rebound or a community like Project Rebound, I remained stagnant. There wasn't any chance that I was going to commit a crime again. I would do absolutely nothing ever to jeopardize my freedom. But I wasn't being proactive. I wasn't engaged or participating in my community, and I certainly wasn't giving back like I wanted to be giving back. Project Rebound allows for people to be able to, as a community and as a group, move forward and be proactive about their community engagement. through my experience as the program director at Project Rebound, I have been able to connect and liaison with people in the community to provide these opportunities for my students to engage in volunteer work and access the communities and give back, working with at-risk youth and working in neighborhoods that are disadvantaged. And through helping them, I have created a platform for myself to embrace that freedom and come out of the alienation to a point where I'm in a position where I'm no longer stagnant. I'm able to be proactive and engaged in my community and actively giving back. It has opened the door of freedom for me. So rather than hiding in isolation, I have been able to break free of that and move forward in a positive way to have a real impact in my community through Project Rebound.
And as a person that I definitely see as like a pioneer, like a leader in this movement. You're not just an average person that had some difficult times through education. You excelled. You've done a lot of things. What are you doing now? How many degrees have you achieved or earned rather?
So when I was released from prison, I had a high school education, and that was it. College was not accessible to me while I was incarcerated. They had not started any of those programs yet. So as soon as I returned to the community, I was encouraged by my family to return to school. I embraced that idea because I couldn't find a job. I had tried several places and nobody would hire me. So in order to keep myself busy, I started school. I got my AA degree. I graduated with honors. I was a student of note when I received my AA degree. I attended Fresno State and obtained a bachelor's degree. I graduated with honors. I went on into the master's program where again I graduated with honors. I was Dean's Medalist and I received awards for my final project. I have excelled academically on this campus. In terms of moving then into teaching as an adjunct lecturer in the criminology department, which was supposed to have been in just for a couple of semesters and has turned into a very long-term endeavor, which I love. I love talking and teaching and watching people grow into better people. And then as Project Rebound, as the director, we started the program here. Arnold, Hannah, Dr. Hughes, Emma Hughes, and myself started the program here at campus. And when I started and I walked into the office, we had a desk and a pen and 2 chairs. And that was it. There was nothing else. And so we began the process of building, getting computers, getting printers, connecting with people on campus, making relationships. And I have found that those relationships are critical to the success of students. They're critical to the success of this program too. So I have initiated relationships with people in admissions and financial aid, but I've also initiated relationships with people around the state and around the country that are working to promote education, recognizing the transformative power of education in people's lives. And the goal, of course, is to prevent victimization. For every person that doesn't commit an additional crime and become part of that recidivism statistic, that's at least one person that has gone unvictimized because we have changed the trajectory of this particular individual. And higher education has done that. So we have created this amazing network of people that encourage and support that.
And in doing this work, I know you have not only one of the functioning campuses in this 3-year journey that we've ventured on, but you have an excelling campus. I want to know kind of like what you've seen. I know a lot of families, they come to you and they probably feel extremely grateful about, helping their relatives and stuff like that. Tell me about one of those cases, like the intrinsic reward that you received from the experience, just doing the work and being a pioneer in the movement.
So I have several stories that I could share with you that have been incredibly impactful for me as the program director here at Fresno State, where families have come and shared the positive impact that this program and the support that we give their son or their daughter, their sister or their brother, and how impactful in a positive way that has been. I have a couple of them actually. One in particular is a young man that did not have a lot of social support. He was in this area, paroled back to this area, and his family is from the Bay Area, and so he was really here alone. And we have worked with him. We've helped him find housing. We hooked him up with a fellow Project Rebound student that also needed housing, and so together they were able to move into a place together. And he has repaired his academic record, and he's doing very well now, moving forward in his academic career. He participates in Project Rebound events all the time. Anytime I ask him to volunteer, he's one of the first to acknowledge and try to show up. And I recently had the opportunity to speak with his mother, who lives out of the area, and she shared with me how it had changed everything about him, that he had always been a really good person, but he tended to not have leadership skills or be able to initiate change or resist influence. And that associating with Project Rebound and through the leadership positions I had put him in outreach and community service and in volunteer opportunities where I had given him the responsibility of organizing, orchestrating, and making sure that things were done appropriately at each event. Through that, she says that he has changed into a true leader, and that now he is able to resist influences that in the past he had not been able to resist, which was extremely impactful for me. Another one that I would really like to share is a woman that all of us have worked with at some point or another from the very beginning, and she has struggled with poverty, and she has also struggled with raising children by herself. And she came to me recently and said that her daughters have decided that they are going to college because she's going to college. And that change and shift within their family is extremely significant. And understanding that what we do today to change the trajectory of this one person's life has impacted all of her children. I have another student whose sons were involved in gang activity. They're both now in school and holding full-time jobs. One just recently had a child. That's 3 generations of people that we've impacted by working with one person. And seeing the actual ripple effect that we know happens, but actually seeing it, it's amazing.
In closing, tell me that I know reentry has come lightweight, sexy. More people are accepting formerly incarcerated folks in higher education and realizing that it is a reality. But tell me this for the future. What are the things like you see this movement going, the direction rather you see this movement going, or things that you would love to see happen in the future within the next 5-10 years?
So education has become popular in terms of reducing recidivism, and that's fantastic. But every time